interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Hey guys, this is Mike. Emergency cut-in before today's show starts. There's going to be some elements that are going to be changed around because Alex is really sick right now. So his review will be replaced by another thing that I am doing. So wish Alex to get really well, and hopefully he'll be back on the show in about a week or two. So, and now on with the show.
And now, our feature presentation.
Who disrupts my coronation?
Everyone has been destroyed because of this freak. I won't allow it! These babies just saved this lame fest party!
What's going on? You are listening to ThisWeekInGeek.net. I'm your host, Mike the Birdman, but I'm actually alone today, coming to you from the royal city of Guelph, Ontario, Canada, and it feels like it has been a really long time since we have had a chance to do a proper show here on TWIG, and that's because we have been hit with just an incredible streak of bad luck, sickness, fatigue, and everything else, and you might be wondering, why am I doing the show solo today? So Alex got a hold of me last night. He says, like, hey, Mike, I'm not sleeping so well. I feel really sick. Can you handle the show today? So I'm like, dude, of course, no problem. So if you guys could send your best wishes to Alex, either just send some positive energy, or if you want to tag him on Twitter, his tag is at DeathPhaseTwig on there, or just at This Week in Geek. That would be really, really appreciated. And hopefully he'll be back sooner as opposed to later. So the last time you probably heard from me was when I was working with Enrique and James Rolfe, when we did our annual Halloween show, where we talked about horror remakes that actually work. That was a lot of fun. And I think I may have had another show with JT from Saskatoon on Twig Sunday Funnies, and hopefully we're going to get a couple of more of those recorded before the end of the year, and I think we're still working on getting me, Alex, and Aaron together for a few more things, but I'm sure we'll figure that out as time goes on. So yeah, it's just going to be me today. So I've got some reviews coming up for you. I'm going to be talking about some stuff that will be included in our holiday gift guide. Some of these items we may have gotten really early, or we may have just gotten recently. Like, we've got so many games from so many people, so I am like weeks behind in certain things. But I've also, like, you know, we're one of those podcasts, and you know, I like to think we have the relationship with all of you, our listeners who've been with us for like 16, 17 years at this point. And it's that time of year where I guess I know I have major depression, and I'm not just saying that I'm actually diagnosed, but I would wonder if I actually have seasonal affective. I've just had an incredibly hard time recently, and I actually put this out on my personal Facebook, and I actually had a lot of people respond to this in a really, really positive manner. Just a lot of really encouraging words and whatnot. And I've been going through some personal stuff kind of recently. And don't worry, it's nothing, you know, world shattering or anything. Just Birdman's been having a bit of a hard time. He's had a bit of a sad, but I'm starting to come out the other side, because I'm starting to work on a couple of other projects, which have been really, really, really exciting, which I really do need to start updating my Patreon, which I've got a few people signed up for, because it's very much meant to be a freemium thing, or if you want to support me, that'd be great. I'm just looking to give you stuff that adds value to it than just, you know, a couple podcasts, a couple posts here and there. which means I am working on some other projects right now. I am working on some freelance stuff for some other companies. I've actually submitted a few more pieces to some other companies recently. I've actually gotten a few hits back. So who knows? Maybe you'll see Birdman writing for your favorite IP later on next year, fingers crossed. And we'll have to wait and see what kind of happens. But if you've been wondering what's been kind of going on with me personally, well, I have taken the position with the Guelph Storms fan club, the Storm Trackers. I've been running all of their social media, which has actually been a really, really fun time for me. And it's been kind of fun. So what I do is I go down to the Sleeman Center, which is where the Guelph Storm play out of, and I'll actually do like a little bit of a pre-show. And what that means is I'll get out my camera. I have this cool little device. It's kind of like, it's like a tripod that's on like a gun. It's like this like pistol grip thing. So I'll go to the front of the arena, which is the gate closest to where the Storm Trackers are, which is in section 114. And I'll be like, hey guys, this is Mike, voice of the Guelph Storm Trackers. We are here at the opening night, blah, 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 blah. And I'll go into, like, hey, tonight we're going to be playing the Niagara Ice Dogs. And we are just coming off of a 2-game losing streak or 2-game win streak. We just watched Max Nemestikov score 4 goals against the London Knights. And I'll do stuff like that. And then I'll go up to the table. I'll talk to Randy and Suzanne, who are the president and vice president. And then I'll go up to the Guelph Shriners Club and say, hey guys, if you want to win this authentic game-worn jersey, come out and do that. And then what else I do is I try and film every single goal, their side and our side. If I see something funny in the crowd, I'll try and grab it. And then I always do this thing between periods. And I kind of got this idea from watching Hockey Night in Canada when I was a kid on CBC. You would have the two hosts, they'd be like, after 40 minutes, and they would come out and they'd discuss. And, I'm not the most articulate when it comes to sports, but I do know what I like. And I like to try and bring that fun enthusiasm, that everyman perspective to things. And honestly, it's been a lot of fun. I've actually had a lot of the players' parents come up to me. I have like easily 20, 30 people a game, if not more, coming up to me every game and saying, hey, you're doing a great job. So that's been really fun. And I'll post it across Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and just kind of have fun with that. So that's a lot of what I've been doing. I've also been running a Dungeons and Dragons game down at The Dragon, which is my local comic book shop. And this week we were supposed to be off because they were launching some kind of a Magic the Gathering thing. And I said, hey guys, I was sick a few weeks ago, so why don't I give you a session in lieu and let's play online. And we had a chance to do D&D Beyond, which my friend Paul got me into a while ago, and he showed me how to use maps and minis and everything. And I've been doing that whenever I run with like my friends online. And it was a lot of fun, actually. My players of Jack, John, and Rob did a fantastic job. I've got them set to this incredibly difficult mission in Ravenloft. And then, this happened last week when we actually went down to the Dragon to play. So this person had come in and they were carrying a copy of Star Trek Adventures 2nd edition. And this is the first time I've actually encountered anybody in the wild buying the book. So I was like, hey, I wrote that. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I wrote that. Here, look, check it out. Here's the USS Guelph. And they're like, holy shit. So that was really, really exciting. And they asked me like, hey, Mike, would you run Star Trek? And I'm thinking, well, I guess I could try. I mean, I'm used to writing fiction for this like kind of property. So yeah, sure, I guess I'll give it a shot. So yeah, maybe next year down at the Dragon, I will be running Star Trek Adventures. I've only ever been a player in it. I actually haven't had a chance to run it per se, but it looks like it would be a fairly fun time because, I like to do that action adventure-y kind of Star Trek. Not like Discovery's action adventure, more like DS9 / Voyager era type sort of stuff, maybe with a little bit of lower decks thrown in there. But still, that seems like it would be tremendously fun. So that's what I've been up to. As me and Alex often talk about, we ask, what have we been playing? Well, I've been playing Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero almost nonstop. We did get a review code for Xbox, and Ken is going to be putting that in his holiday gift guide. And I've been playing it on PlayStation 5, and I've been grinding out all the titles, all of the icons, and I've got almost every single title. Like, I'm missing like 5 of them. Like, not very many. I've got every single character done. And that's been really awesome to grind that out. I've got most of the gold emblems for the characters. And if you know how much effort that takes, that's a lot of goddamn man hours. And I play a lot of ranked. I play like Raditz. I play like, that's my main, and he will always be my ride or die. I'm starting to learn Yamcha because I just like the idea of having people getting the shit kicked out of them by like arguably the weakest character in the franchise. And it's been really fun because I've had players rage quit on me. I've beaten Broly's with Yamcha, and I have stomped kids into friggin' spaghetti. And it's been incredibly satisfying to do that. I'm starting to learn team battles now, and my team right now is Raditz, Yamcha, Super Vegeta, which would be like Cell Saga, Vegeta, and Krillin. And I might experiment with Videl because I'm just a big fan of Videl, but I have her in her high school outfit. Though I'm kind of hoping she gets her Dragon Ball Super red dress at some point. And if they gave her the Super Saiyan hair, that'd be pretty cool too. But anyway, yeah, that's what I've been playing. I should be getting my review for Call of Duty Black Ops done. I'm going to hopefully get it done this week. I've just been mostly playing that and like Baldur's Gate now that mods are available on consoles, which has kind of revolutionized the experience for me now that I can literally just experiment with stuff. I'm seeing dialogue I've never seen before, and just the community for that game, second to none. Amazing. You're all aces in my books. I love it. And then, yeah, I've also been going to the movies like a lot recently. Like, I just saw Heretic with evil Hugh Grant. That was a trip. I saw Terrifier 3 a few weeks back. I was supposed to go see Dragon Ball Daima yesterday, but I was really sick and I just couldn't go. Yeah, I've just seen like almost every major release in theaters I've seen in the last couple of weeks. It's been really kind of incredible just being able to go out and just do this. Just because in Canada we have this thing called Cineplus, and it's through our local theater chain called Cineplex. Basically, you get like discount kind of movie tickets and shit like that. And I'm figuring, you know what? This is what me and Liam do. Liam is one of my best friends. You might have remembered hearing them on Stargate TWIG a couple of years back. And yeah, we just go to the movies and just kind of hang out. And it's been really, really, really fun going out and doing that. But anyway, guys, I have yapped enough. So we are going to do a full show. It's just going to be me talking. But yeah, so we should have 2 reviews from me. Again, we're going to be looking at Dragon Ball Sparking Zero on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox. And we're also going to be taking a look at Mario Party, I think it's called Superstar Jamboree. Either way, the latest Mario Party for the Nintendo Switch. Me and Blair have been playing that and having a real blast. She really sucks when she, and I don't mean she sucks that she's terrible. I mean, she sucks because she beats me at times. But this game has a new wrinkle, so maybe I won't get so screwed up on chance, but we'll talk about that later. Plus, I'm sure Alex will have something for us a little bit later in the show. But now it is time to enter the land of the Kais and enter the latest Budokai Tenkaichi. But now we're just calling it Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. So this is my review right here on thisweekingeek.net. I've been Mike the Birdman. We will be back, guys, right after this, only on thisweekingeek.net.
Last time on This Week in Geek, Vegeta had his sights squarely upon Mike the Birdman. Can Maximum Nerdosity win against the Prince of All Saiyans? Find out at thisweekingeek.net.
Hey guys, this is Mike the Birdman here. I'm here to talk about something really awesome we got sent for review and for our holiday gift guide consideration. We're going to be taking a look at Dragon Ball Sparking Zero on the Xbox Series X and on the PlayStation 5. This is one of these games that I have been looking forward to for such a long time. I used to love Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi. I played a lot of Dragon Ball Fighters back when it was receiving regular updates, though was never too much of an online guy with that. I used to like playing the story mode. But Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has hit literal insane levels of hype with me, with a roster that is like 182 characters deep, multiple transformations, a lot of incoming DLC, a lot of cool options that you can do with this game. This game, Sparking Zero, quite literally has it all and has got me excited, not like anything I've played in literally quite some time. Like, to give you the basic setup, yes, it's a fighting game, but there are story modes that kind of play out and do basically the greatest hits of Dragon Ball. But there's also areas that you can branch off into different paths, into what ifs. Like, what if when you're fighting Raditz, what if you didn't team up with Piccolo? What if you did it with Krillin? Or what if you fought Gohan Black instead of Goku Black? Stuff like that. What if, the Cell games had went differently? What if Goku had beat Cell rather than Gohan? All sorts of stuff like this. And it's kind of cool in that regard. I mean, you do get some cutscenes, not as much as I would like. If I did have one major complaint about the game, is I do wish there was a little bit more animation and cutscenes as opposed to slideshows and a little bit more voice acting. But you don't come here for the story mode. You're coming here for the fighting. And there is tournament modes or something like called the Yamcha games, where literally all rules go out the window. But what I like to play, there is ranked mode. You might think, oh, toxicity. And if you follow the Reddit, not wrong, but there is a way that you can play singles battles and you can play DP battles, which is sort of like how you determine how many points a character is worth. So you can't just stack a team full of all Jiren, God of Destruction, Toppo, and Ultra Instinct, whatever. You can't just do that. So you get 15 points and you got to assign how many characters you're going to get. So you can't just max it out with a bunch of level 7, 8s, 10s, and whatever. It makes a lot of sense to have your team balanced. For example, I play with Raditz, Super Vegeta, Yamcha, and Krillin, and that's been working pretty well for me right now, though I mostly play singles. I'm mid-rank, B rank right now, so hopefully I'll reach that, those upper tiers at some point, but I honestly have a lot of fun, and I haven't encountered too many people that are too big of a jerk in this game. I've had a few people who rage quit, which is kind of funny when you literally use a Yamcha to stomp a Broly. That's pretty funny, but I'm not saying I'm the best. You want to go see a guy who's pretty good at this game, go follow Burkhole over on YouTube, and you'll see someone pretty fun. But no, this game is a freaking blast. There's a lot of stuff to unlock. I literally just spent the last little bit unlocking all the titles for all the characters. Now I'm unlocking all of the little icons. You can create custom battles, so you can literally make custom Dragon Ball episodes. Like, my first one that I ever created was what if Raditz and Nappa had teamed up and fought the entirety of the Ginyu Force. And you can actually make dialogue, not spoken dialogue, but you'll get a bunch of things. You can be like, Nappa, what are we going to do against Ginyu Force? And it's not perfect, but it is pretty cool to see how the things play out. You can even create little movies with it too. So if certain conditions are met, certain things can happen. You can trigger special effects. It's a lot of fun, and I've seen some people put a lot of really cool effort into it. And again, just the sky's the limit if you're really willing to dig into it too. But Sparking Zero has a lot of cool things going for it. There is a Seasons Pass that will offer characters from Dragon Ball Superheroes, so you're going to get Gamma 1, Gamma 2, presumably Gohan, Beast, Orange Piccolo, Power Maximized Piccolo. Presume you'll probably get Magenta and Dr. Hedo, Cell Max, I would presume. Dragon Ball Daima, Goku Mini was a pre-order bonus character, though he is in the game right now, though he doesn't have any English lines yet. I wonder, as of this review, if that'll change when the English dub starts streaming on Crunchyroll by the end of the week. So I guess we'll have to kind of wait and find out what happens with that. Is the game balanced? Yes and no. Yes, in that regards that, Videl could take on God of Destruction Beerus and win. but your health is going to be balanced compared to his. He's going to be way tougher than you are, but you can also buy items from the in-game shop when you earn Zenny, which is free currency in-game that you can use it to unlock characters. You can get the Dragon Balls to wish for more characters or outfits and everything. And it is a lot of stuff to grind for. I grinded everything in the shop in just under a week, but I also was depression playing, so it was all I was playing for a while. But I honestly had a lot of fun with it. Now, as far as I know, I don't know what's going to happen with crossplay, if that ever will happen, hopefully. I know you can mod this game to high hell on PC. I've seen some really cool mods, some that are very questionable as well, too. But don't play mods online, you will get banned. But it's a really good time to be a Dragon Ball fan. We've got a new series going with Dragon Ball Diamond. It's going to be like 20 episodes. We're going to get multiple seasons of DLC. You can buy the anime music packs for this game, which I have purchased because I had extra money in my PlayStation wallet. So it's been really cool that you can customize Raditz, and when he goes into his sparking mode, I can have the Ultra Instinct theme, which is really awesome. So yeah, I'm not exactly taking down Jiren anytime soon, but it is still pretty kick-ass just to know that I'm just doing amazing things out there. And just to see certain characters represented, it's awesome. I really hope we'll get more characters, we'll get more customization options as time goes on. And if you're willing to put the time in and learn the mechanics behind this game, you are in for such a treat with Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. So I can ultimately say I did have a game of the year in mind already so far this year. This is coming very close to knocking that off. And I guess we'll find out in just a few weeks what happens if this does topple that. But anyway, guys, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is a most definite recommend buy. If you like the anime arena fighter, if you love Dragon Ball, Kami Kameha's, Spirit Balls, Death Beams, all sorts of wacky attacks with crazy characters that have been iconic for decades, you're going to have a friggin' blast with this game. So big thanks to Bandai Namco for sending this over. Trust me, this will raise your power levels definitely over 9,000.
The Prime Minister of Sweden visited Washington today, and my tiny little nipples went to France.
Gossip, rumors, panic in the streets. We're lucky.
This Week in Geek.
Hey guys, this is Mike the Birdman here, and we are back on thisweekingeek.net as we deliver to you the Nerd News Network, only on thisweekingeek.net. And well, it is just me this week, so we're going to be talking about a couple of different stories that I'm hopefully going to be delivering to you, and hopefully I won't screw up some of these names too badly. So anyway, our first story, and it's a pretty big one. This one comes courtesy of CBC.ca, and the Trudeau government bans TikTok from operating in Canada, but Canadians can still use it. Decision comes in wake of a national security review of the popular social media app. Citing national security concerns, the federal government has ordered TikTok to shutter its Canadian operations, but users will still be able to access the popular video app. Innovation Minister Francois-Philippe Champagne, I think, said the decision to wind down TikTok's two Canadian offices in Toronto and Vancouver was based on information and evidence that surfaced during a national security review and the advice of Canada's security and intelligence community. Quote, we came to the conclusion that these activities that were conducted in Canada by TikTok and their offices would be injurious to national security, he told CBC News. Quote, I'm not at liberty to go into much detail, but I know Canadians would understand when you're saying the government of Canada is taking measures to protect national security. That's serious. The statement stressed that the government is not blocking Canadians from accessing the app or by using it to create content. The decision to use a social media application or platform is a personal choice, the statement said. But Champagne said, urged Canadians to use TikTok with, quote, eyes wide open. Critics have claimed that TikTok users' data could be obtained by the Chinese government. Obviously, parents and anyone who wants to use social media should be mindful of the risk. He said the decision was made in accordance with the Investment Canada Act, which allows for the review of foreign investments that may harm Canada's national security. A spokesperson for TikTok said the company plans to take legal action Quote, shutting down TikTok's Canadian offices and destroying hundreds of well-paying local jobs is not in anyone's best interest, and today's shutdown order will do just that. We will challenge this order in court, the spokesperson said in an email. The U.S. has also concerns with ByteDance. U.S. lawmakers have contended that TikTok's owner ByteDance is beholden to the Chinese government, which could demand access to the data of U.S. TikTok's consumers through Chinese national security laws that compel organizations to assist with intelligence gathering. TikTok's parent company ByteDance is also accused of helping China's system for cracking down on the, I can't pronounce this, called the Uyghur minority, or Uyghur, I can't pronounce it, I'm sorry, or the targeting of protesters in Hong Kong. The Security National Intelligence Service, or CSIS, has warned Canadians, including teenagers, against using TikTok. Former CSIS director David Vigneault told CBC News it is, quote, very clear the app's design and data gleaned from its users is available to the government of China and its large-scale data harvesting goals. Most people can say, why is it a big deal for a teenager now to have their data on TikTok? Well, in 5-10 years, that teenager will be a young adult, will be engaged in different activities around the world, he said at the time. As an individual, I'd say I would absolutely not recommend to someone to have TikTok. In February 2023, the Canadian government banned social media platform from all government devices. Later that year, it ordered a national security review of the app. Wednesday's statement was a result of the review, which Champagne said was rigorous scrutiny by Canada's national security and intelligence community. TikTok has long maintained that its servers are outside of China and beyond the control of the Chinese Communist Party, and that it follows Canadian data protection and privacy laws. So my opinion on this is, yeah, I can see there is total need for concern. It is no secret that your microphone and other such things on your personal devices can be accessed. And like, for example, again, I'm pretty sure what I'm going to say is correct. Like, you may be wondering how some of your ads are tailored on Facebook or on Threads or whatever. Like, why are you suddenly seeing, I don't know, advertisements for Tide? Because it probably listened in and heard you talking about Tide. Like, I get some really weird targeted advertisements on mine. I'm not going to go into detail. Don't worry, it's not that fucked up. But it's just like, yeah, I get that. But yeah, I could see someone who, you know, maybe this person, I don't know. I mean, I don't like it. I know Alex has a very more in-depth understanding of how the Chinese operates and the Chinese intelligence gathering services. And obviously, you know, we're in a war of information. And although, to look at it a different way, everybody has social media on their app one way or another. And in the wake of what happened last week, and that's all I'm really going to kind of say about it for now anyway, is that laws are changing, and I could see why we're trying to get that foreign influence out of social media. I'm not saying Facebook or X/Twitter is any better, because Musk fucking sucks. So much so that I'm probably going to be leaving the platform by the end of the year. I may just use it to post very small personal like business updates. And if you want to follow me, I'm on Blue Sky, which if you want to follow me over there, go to my Twitter, and I think it's pinned near the top. I'm not hard to find. I think it's like Birdman Guelph or something like that. But I'll make sure Alex updates our stuff later on in the year. But when it comes back to the whole TikTok thing, honestly, the platform can do a lot of good in terms of viral marketing. It can do a lot of good in terms of raising awareness in communities. I was using it for my disability and Indigenous advocacy, but that really kind of slowed down during the summer just for a lot of personal reasons. But I could see the data being harvested being very useful, especially when it comes, and this is going to be me popping on my tinfoil beret for just a moment here, but you think about, you can get location data out of that. You might be saying, well, what's the big fucking deal? Let's say, you know, someone's walking around with TikTok in their phone, and they're walking around a national security office, and you now know what the layout of that building looks like. or maybe it overhears something. Like, you know, again, that's probably the most extreme example of that. And that's just, again, maybe I'm thinking Skynet's coming to get me, but I could see your data should be yours. But we live in such a data-driven society. It's so hard to know what's already out there, like what data brokers have your data. And I know there's companies like Trilogy Media that say, hey, you should be signing up with NordVPN, you should be using Guardio. So there are different ways to encrypt your data, but if you're inviting these social media platforms onto your phone, they're already harvesting your stuff anyway, because you think back to the Facebook stuff and the Cambridge Analytica stuff from a couple of years ago. Meta's constantly harvesting your data. TikTok, of course they are. X is most definitely doing whatever you're doing on there to train their artificial intelligence. Yeah, it sucks. I get it. And I don't know. And I think the only reason people like... I know one of the reasons I'm not leaving TikTok right now is I'm parking myself so no one can take my name. But even then, now that I'm legally changing my name, hopefully by the end of the year, I'm going to have to change my username anyway. But I don't know. It's complicated. I get it, especially when it comes, again, for national security concerns. But what are your guys' thoughts? I mean, again, if you want to email us feedback at thisweekingeek.net, I do have a friend of mine who works in intelligence. Actually, I would be very curious to get their opinion on this, just to see what kind of insights they have into this. But yeah, so there it is, folks. Moving on to a different story this week, and definitely a little bit more up my alley and a little bit less dire, but hopefully it doesn't suck. So this story comes courtesy of Variety, thanks because we just recently had N7 Day, which is the Mass Effect holiday, we shall call it. A Mass Effect TV series is in the works at Amazon from Fast and the Furious 9 writer. This was an exclusive. So a Mass Effect TV series is officially in development at Amazon MGM Studios, Variety has learned exclusively. Daniel Casey is set to write and executive produce the adaptation. Karim Zarek will executive produce his Cedar Tree Productions banner with Aria Rod and EA's Michael Gamble, also executive producing. Cedar Tree is currently under an overall deal at Amazon MGM Studios. Exact plot details are being kept under wraps. It was previously reported back in 2021 that Amazon was in negotiations to develop the Mass Effect TV series, but there had been no updates on the project until now. There also have been various attempts to develop a feature film based upon the games, but the project never materialized. The first Mass Effect game launched to rave reviews back in 2007. Since then, there have been 3 more games in the main series, with Mass Effect Andromeda debuting in 2017. There have also been multiple mobile games in the franchise, as well as an animated film, which I do have a press credit on via Funimation, and novels, comic books, and other media. The story of the first 3 Mass Effect game revolves around Commander Shepard, a human soldier in the 22nd century, trying to save humanity from a race of aliens known as the Reapers. Andromeda moved the galaxies much further into the future with a new protagonist and a 5th game also in the works. The franchise is developed by BioWare and now published by EA. Casey most recently worked on the screenplay for F9, the Fast Saga. He's also known for his work on films like sci-fi drama Kin, and did rewrites on 10 Cloverfield Lane. He's also repped by CAA writ large, and Hansen Jacobson. Zarek was previously an executive producer under the now defunct Marvel television unit under Jeff Loeb. During his time with Marvel, he served as executive producer on hit shows like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, The Punisher, and Legion, among several others. Zarek is repped by Ginsberg, Daniels, and Kellis. Arad has previously produced adaptations of games such as Borderlands, Uncharted, Ghost in the Shell, and he's also executive producer on Iron Man, Ghost Rider, and the 2006 Blade TV series, which everybody just seems to fucking forget existed. Okay, so Mass Effect. I have an idea, and I think this would probably work the best, because I think part of the problem with adapting Mass Effect to television is that's not your Shepard. However, I propose this. Set it in the time when Shepard's dead, but all the main characters are still alive. So this is when Cerberus has Shepard's body and is rebuilding him. Garrus is Archangel. Liara's in the process of becoming the Shadow Broker and an intelligence agent. Joker is working with Cerberus to, just do things because the Alliance kind of fucked him over. Rex is back on Tachanka trying to unite the clans. And you've got so many possibilities for what you could do. And Tally's off doing her shit with the Geth and everything. So you can still have the main characters. You can still, hell, you could even get Freddie Prinze Jr., I don't know, get him all jacked up and he can still be James Vega if he so wants to be. You could do a lot of things. Now, I saw someone had posted online that John Cena was posting about Mass Effect. Would John Cena make a bad Commander Shepard? I'm going to say probably, maybe that's not a terrible idea. And hear me out. He's not a bad actor. He is built like Shepard. But I don't know. If I were to do a Mass Effect, I want FemShep. And not because I love Jennifer Hale, but I do. But the reason I want that is I want the different type of romances. It's cool to have... I can't remember. Ashley, and who's the other guy? The other biotic dude. It's going to drive me crazy. I can't think of his name. It's been a really long time since I played these games. But no, I want the romance. In my ideal world, it is FemShep and Garrus. That's who I think would make a dramatic and kind of beautiful story. Because in Mass Effect 2, it's an incredible romance. You should do it. That's my FemShep. That's my headcanon. Just fucking deal with it. But I think you could do something really incredible there too and really just showcase what can be done. Because when Amazon Studios puts the money into something, look at how successful Fallout was. Now, Fallout did have its problems, and what I mean by that is they didn't... Yes, we had the power armor. Yes, we had some of the monsters. The ghoul was awesome. Walton Goggins looked phenomenal. But you didn't get Death Claws. You got one Gulper. You saw some Rad Roaches. You saw some ghouls, but you didn't see Death Claws. You didn't see Yao Guai except outside of one episode, and it looked really fucking bad. But the props in the world looked good. So for Mass Effect, Asari, pretty easy. Geth probably would look pretty cool. Quarian's pretty cool. Drell pretty cool. Hanar, maybe. You probably won't see those guys too often. Krogan, that's going to be a lot of animatronics and a guy in a suit. I'm fine with that. You have the real potential to make this look amazing, but it also depends on where you set it. So I would probably have it mostly set on the Citadel and probably the Migrant Fleet. And you could probably have a few scenes on Thessia and... the underworld planet where you run into Morden. So yeah, you could do a lot of interesting stuff with it, and I really think it could work. But I think the less they touch the main Shepard character and have them referenced, I see that as okay. And you kind of do it how they did in Fallout, where it's set. I want to say that the Fallout TV series happens just after Fallout 4 or something. I'm trying to remember the exact year. But if you set it between two main events, you have established the Reapers exist. You've established the Battle of the Citadel. And you could put in line certain canon choices, like Shepard save the Council. Maybe you killed Rex or something. And maybe the Rachni Queen you let live. So you have those plot threads dangling, so if you want to do something, you could probably do it. That's what I would do, personally. And then, hell, you really want to blow my fucking mind. You find a way to get Martin Sheen as the elusive man. You pay him whatever the fuck he wants, and you have him in. I really think that's your antagonist, or your anti-hero for the first season of Mass Effect. Have him set up things in the shadow. Hell, you could even have the girl who played Miranda, Yvonne something or else, do her things, because you know, she voices the character. I want to say she looks pretty much like her, but either way, you could do a lot of things with that. I really think so. So that's what I think. I think that'd be really friggin' cool. I hope it happens. I really do. But I also want it done right. If that means I have to wait like 3 years, I'm fine with it. Because we saw the leaks that came out of Fallout, and it bypassed everybody's expectations. And there's little Easter eggs in the background of Fallout that people are still finding today. Like, hell, just the fact that you can see laser pistols and little things, and like, just, there's so many cool little Easter eggs. If you go back and watch that show frame by frame, it's a friggin' dream, and I can't wait for that season 2 to come out. I know Macaulay Culkin is joining that series. It wouldn't surprise me if he's going to be like some kind of an institute scientist, or maybe he works for Mr. House or something. It's going to be weird. It's going to be fun, but I'm really, really looking forward to that. So Mass Effect TV series, when that's going to come, who the hell knows? I would be happy with a trailer by next N7 day, or maybe show us the props of the Avenger, maybe show us a render of the Normandy or something, or show us, like, I don't know, a Krogan head prop or something. I don't know. You could do something, I'm quite sure of it. Or maybe Garrus comes out on stage at the VGAs or something. Who knows, right? So anyway, moving on to our last story this week. And again, this one, don't know quite how I feel about it, but I like the team behind it. So this one comes courtesy of comicbook.com. Cult classic Santa slasher getting another reboot from the Terrifier team. One of the most iconic horror movies of all time made major waves in 1984 with Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street giving birth to Freddy Krueger and still striking fear into the heartbeats of audiences. Also in 1984, Silent Night, Deadly Night depicted an unhinged killer who dressed up in a Santa Claus suit, with Terrifier distributor Cineverse securing the rights for an all-new reimagining of the concept. Back in 2012, the horror movie Silent Night served as a loose reimagining of the concept. The new movie will be written and directed by Mike P. Nelson, who previously directed the 2021 Wrong Turn reboot. The quote, the opportunity to work with the producers involved in the original Silent Night, Deadly Night, and to partner with the Terrifier 3 team is an honor, Nelson shared in a statement per Deadline. Quote, I'll never forget walking into the video store at the mini mall when I was 5 and seeing that poster for the original film. I was in awe and started imagining what horrifying things would happen. To be part of the film's legacy many years later is insane. I'm looking forward to getting production underway and unleashing my new take on this compelling story. Billy is back. Cineverse executive producer, director of acquisitions, Brandon Hill, added, I've always been a huge fan of Silent Night, Deadly Night, and can't wait to bring Mike's vision to fellow fans of iconic slashers. As we've seen this year, there continues to be an incredible demand for independent horror films with Bite, and we believe we can deliver strong audiences from theatrical to home entertainment and streaming. The original movie focused on a young boy who witnessed his parents brutally attacked by a man in a Santa suit, and when he grew up, witnessed another violent incident where while he dressed as Santa, igniting his violence and punishing those he deemed, quote, naughty, which inspired 4 sequels. The first sequel featured more than 30 minutes of recycled footage from the first entry and ultimately had a runtime that only barely earned it a feature film distinction. While A Nightmare on Elm Street is incredibly, undeniably more seminal for the horror genre than Silent Night, Deadly Night, the two films were actually in theaters at the same time in November of 1984, with early returns showing that Silent Night, Deadly Night was performing better than Craven's horror movie. However, the advertising campaign leaning into the juxtaposition of Santa Claus going on a brutal rampage earned it a public backlash that saw the media pulled from theaters. The new Silent Night, Deadly Night is expected to land in theaters in 2025. So that's next year. I could see this working. And the thing is, I think you have to make the character of Billy interesting. You can't just do Art the Clown in a Santa suit, because we got that this year. And Terrifier 3 was actually really cool. I really enjoyed it. I think the lore went a little bit sideways, but whatever. It's still fun. I like it. Silent Night, Deadly Night, I don't know how successful it's going to be. I mean, if it's a really good one and done, great. But the thing is, you're going to get someone doing a Garbage Day homage, and that's fine and probably pretty funny if you do it in just the right, approachable way. I'm fine with that. But the thing is, I want it to be one and done. Now, one reboot that was a pleasant surprise to me, and this is going to draw hatred, and I'm fucking ready for you, so come at me, bro. I really liked the Slumber Party Massacre reboot reboot that came out a couple of years ago. I talked about it with, I think it was Enrique and Dave a little while ago. And I was pleasantly surprised by how much fun that one was. I was really surprised. And yet I look at other reboots like the aforementioned Nightmare on Elm Street, and it was not good, but maybe I'll give it a rewatch. Probably not going to change my mind on that one. But the Friday the 13th one could have had potential, but audiences weren't ready for that yet. And I'm okay with reboots and remakes as long as you're bringing something new and exciting to the project. Like, I don't want the same garbage we've seen before just brought back for the sake of earning a quick buck. Like, it can't be lame. And that's what I mostly am afraid for a project like Silent Night, Deadly Night. Like, okay, cool. Yay. I don't know. I'd rather, like, I can think of at least 4 or 5 different movies I'd rather see reboot than Silent Night, Deadly Night. Like, for example, I would love to see Pumpkinhead redone. I think that's a lot more deserving of a reboot or a reimagining or a new sequel than this. Or I'd much rather see something happen with, I don't know, what's another popular horror franchise? I think I kind of got left on the... Okay, give me a new urban legend. Okay. Maybe a new version of The Blob. New Phantom of the Opera. Actually, hell, you really want to surprise the fuck out of me? Give me a genuinely terrifying Creature from the Black Lagoon, right? I know there was The Shape of Water and whatever that was. I haven't saw it, but you know, like because I know in like a month we're getting Nosferatu. We've had the Invisible Man. It's been a number of years since we've had a Frankenstein, and yes, I know there's the Thomas Jane one. I think it is. Was it Thomas Jane or was it Aaron Eckhart? I don't know. The blonde guy. Yeah, like I think there's potential to revisit certain franchises and certain monsters. Silent Night, Deadly Night, I think it's more of a fun idea as a concept than it is in execution. Because I remember watching this movie in college with my friends Dave and Ashley. And although, one funny story, I do remember my buddy Dave, because me and Ashley were like the best of friends, and we were watching this, and I think we were having a couple drinks at the time. And I remember Dave hiding around the corner of the apartment as I was walking Ashley out to her car. And Dave comes around the corner, he's like, naughty! And it scared the shit out of her. And she's like, ah! And that was a fucking blast. But that was pretty funny. But at the same time, the central driving plot of Silent Night, Deadly Night is not that deep. Again, I'm not in Hollywood. I'm barely a writer. So, hey, who knows, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we'll get something cool. Hell, you know what would be really awesome? Give me a new Howling. I'm really hoping that new Wolfman movie, when that comes out, is really fucking cool. I guess we'll find out in January. But anyway, guys, that's what I got coming up for the news for you this week. I believe Alex is going to have a review right here, right now. So when we're going to come back, we're going to talk about the weird things that happened around the planet this week, right here on thisweekingeek.net. I've been Mike the Birdman. We'll be back, guys, right after this.
That Terminator is out there. It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear. And it absolutely will not stop. Ever. Until you are dead.
Hey guys, this is Mike the Birdman here. I'm here to talk about something really cool we got sent for a review from our friends over at Warner Brothers Home Entertainment. I'm going to be talking about the 4K Ultra HD version of The Terminator, which also includes a digital code. So guys, this is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's a movie I can almost quote line for line. I actually have a replica of the original poster for this. It's one of my favorite all-time movies. And, you know, it pretty much shaped how I viewed sci-fi, time travel, and just a lot of things that have really influenced my life as a huge sci-fi dork. So what more can I say about this movie that hasn't been said since this movie came out back in 1984? Not a whole hell of a lot. Boy gets sent back through time to protect girl from killer cyborg, who eventually becomes the governor of California, and hilarity ensues. So let's talk about the 4K presentation for this movie. I'm watching this on a Amazon Fire TV, 65 inches. I'm watching this through my Xbox Series X, and I think it looks really good. From what I've heard, and I do have one other of the latest camera movies to compare against, I'm comparing this against the Aliens restoration that came out earlier this year, and I would say this one looks a little bit better. It looks basically modern. There's a few points where it looks a little off in terms of color timing, I think is the proper phrase. But I think overall it looks really good. Like the future war sequences look really nice. The blacks look really good, nice, deep, and rich. There's a few points where there's maybe a little bit of digital noise where it looks like a little off, but it doesn't look waxy, although you're seeing a lot more detail. Specifically, the thing that really caught my attention is where Michael Bihn's character of Kyle Reese is shirtless and is running around. You see all the scars he's carrying from the past. You just see just how ripped up he is from fighting in the year of 2027. Like, it looks incredibly rough, but you're also seeing people's pores, hair. I'm noticing little things on tables. I was actually saying to Blair something like, hey, do you remember when Canada Dry used to come in glass bottles like that? Just little things I was just kind of noticing tonight. So I'd say overall, from a visual presentation, it looks really cool, really sharp. The lightning effects look great when the Terminator comes back through time. The future war sequences with the lasers really pop. The endoskeleton fight scene at the end looks fantastic. Movie sounds pretty good. I didn't get a chance to check out some of the other sound tracks on this. I watched it through the Atmos one, but it sounded really, really good. Now, this is where I'm going to deviate from giving this a glowing review. This is a movie that is fairly important cinematically. I actually do believe this is in the Library of Congress in the United States. What baffles me here is to why there are no new special features. A lot of the special features here are from the years 2005, and one even goes all the way back to 2001. Considering the advances we've had in artificial intelligence in just the last couple of years, the advances in drone technology, the talk about robots, the militarization of artificial intelligence, they could have really done some fascinating talks with people in the field. I mean, it would be interesting to talk, say, with Boston Dynamics, the people who do the robot that can do parkour and stuff like that. Like, there's so many fascinating things I could have done if you gave me a budget and a camera, and I'm just really disappointed that they dropped the ball. Like, you're telling me Cameron had all the time to oversee this 4K restoration, and you couldn't get him in front of a camera for 15 or 20 minutes to talk about the whole of the franchise? Like, you know, like, buy Arnie lunch and, I don't know, take him out for a round of golf or something, and get him and Jim together and talk about this. Get other directors who've been involved in the franchise. They already did that back in one of the special features for this, all the way back from 2005. So there's a lot of cool things that they could have done here, and they didn't. That's the biggest mark against this, is the special features should have been updated. It's a crime that they weren't. So my final verdict on this is, if you want better special features, maybe some of the older discs have something that's a little bit more up to date. I don't know, as I personally do not have any of those, so it wouldn't surprise me if there are ones that do have something a little bit more current than 2005. But in terms of picture quality, I think this is fantastic. So if I were to give a recommendation, ask for this for Christmas. This would be a really cool stocking stuffer for sure. But as for you going out there and upgrading it, I think I'd want a better version that includes better special features, because that's always the mark for me, is as much as I love the visual presentation in the movie, the supplemental features make it for me. But yeah, I mean, overall, visually, it looks great. It sounds great. It's an amazing, I think, upgrade. I really think that. But in terms of what you're getting in extras, really, really falls short. So that is my review of the Terminator on 4K Ultra HD, coming to us from our friends over at Warner Brothers Home Entertainment.
Miren, miren. Allá, viene una tormenta.
What did he just say?
He said there's a storm coming in.
I know.
Go crazy?
Don't mind if I do!
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
And welcome back to ThisWeekInGeek.net. I'm your host, Mike the Birdman. All right, guys, it is time to talk about the strange, the unusual, the just plain messed up, fucked up, and things that happened around this part of reality this past week. This first story comes courtesy of CNN.com. Mysterious black balls that washed up on Sydney Beach were foul-smelling mini fatbergs. The mystery of the black balls that washed up on some of Sydney's most iconic beaches last month has now been solved, and it's more disgusting than you could ever imagine. Australian beachgoers returned away from 7 beaches last month after lifeguards spotted thousands of black spheres, prompting closures and cleanup efforts. A team of scientists at the University of New South Wales has revealed that the black balls, initially thought to be made of tar, were actually mini fatbergs that were made up of human feces, methamphetamines, human hair, fatty acids, food waste, among hundreds of other vile and befuddling substances. It's really hard not to want to read this in an Australian accent, so sorry about that. They smell absolutely disgusting. They smell worse than anything you've ever smelled, lead investigator, associate professor John Bevs told CNN affiliate 9 News. The New South Wales Environmental Protection Agency first warned Sydney residents to avoid swimming or touching the balls on October 17th after they were spotted at 7 beaches, including the city's famed Bondi Beach. At that stage, the contents were, quote, a mystery, and local officials ordered a series of tests to find out what they were and where they came from. Initial testing suggested they were made from unrefined oil, potentially from an oil spill. Bevs and UNSW professor William Alexander Donald wrote on the website The Conversation. However, further testing indicated a different and more disgusting composition. The balls were consistent with fatbergs, congealed masses of fats, oils, and greasy molecules that can accumulate in sewage, the scientists wrote. Knowing their presence highlights the issue of pollution along Sydney's coastline. I wouldn't want to be swimming with them, Donald told News 9. Fatbergs come in all shapes and sizes, and in 2021, a massive 330-ton fatberg wreaked havoc in Birmingham, UK, when it clogged a city sewer for weeks. These Sydney fatbergs were no ordinary fatbergs, however. The blobs contained everything from fecal matter to medication and recreational drugs, the scientists wrote. Where these gross balls came from still remains a mystery. The balls likely originated from a source that releases mixed waste, according to a media release from the EPA on Wednesday. Authorities have considered several possible causes, such as a shipping spill or wastewater outflow, the statement said. However, due to the complex composition of the balls and the time they spent in the water, testing that has not been able to confirm their exact origin. Holy shit, is that disgusting. Just the fact, there's, shit and methamphetamines and God knows what else in there. That is messed up. But I do remember the fatberg story from a couple of years ago where, yeah, like I said, it did clog that city sewer for weeks. And the thing is, you can't just go in there and just blast it. It's incredibly difficult to get through. And it's so gross, but that's just kind of the way human waste is. Although, one of the weird things I've seen videos on YouTube where they'll send like drones and like little sewer snake cameras into the underground of like city sewers. And you can see how these fatbergs are congealing on the walls of the city, of like pipes and shit. So you would be surprised what is currently under your proverbial feet right now and just kind of building there. But you think about, pollution, like, waste has got to go somewhere. And, obviously with, climate change being a very real threat to things, and now that we're getting all sorts of weird weather and stuff like that, like with more water comes more wastewater, because that water's got to get flowed somewhere, right? As you flush the sewer system, like think about the amount of times wherever you live, if there ever is like a major rain event and the sewer backs up, that's the type of shit that's eventually going to come to the proverbial surface at some point or another. Like, it really wouldn't surprise me if we see something like this locally here in Toronto at some point in the future, because Lake Ontario is basically a giant chemical monster waiting to consume us all. It really wouldn't surprise me. But again, the part of that story that really kind of gets me is just the fact that they were able to detect methamphetamines, just because I guess that would suggest there's so much in the wastewater, right? But I know, for example, scientists can test wastewater levels, and they can detect levels of bacteria, levels of viruses. Like I remember, and this was happening up until fairly recently, I want to say. Again, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure we were able to test for COVID and other diseases by testing the wastewater that was coming out of a municipality or from the local kind of sewer system. You could see what diseases were kind of prevalent in the area by saying, oh, look, there are so many parts per billion or whatever it is. But still, just fucking yuck, man. Just to see hundreds of thousands of these things just floating out there, and just imagine if one of these things burst on you, like the world's most disgusting surprise. Like the bubble tea from hell, I think, is how I would ultimately describe this. Again, just incredibly yucky, incredibly disgusting, but hopefully environmental cleanup efforts are successful. Hopefully they find the source of this and they're able to clean it up, because you don't know what that's going to do to the environment. Again, with such sensitive beaches along Sydney's coastline, I can only imagine what type of havoc that's wreaking on the natural wildlife that's out there. So yuck, to say the very least. And there you have it, folks. Mini fatbergs. So crikey, it's fucking gross. There you go. And that's my one and only attempt at an accent, and that's all you're ever going to get out of me. Okay, so this story comes courtesy of NPR, or National Public Radio. Dozens of monkeys have escaped from a South Carolina research facility. Dozens of monkeys have escaped a research facility in Yosemite, South Carolina, prompting police to urge residents to lock their doors and windows until the primates have been captured. The Alpha Genesis Primate Research Facility is home to 43 escaped female rhesus macaque primates, which police describe as very young and weighing between 6 and 7 pounds. The Yemenese Police Department, in collaboration with Alpha Genesis, have initiated search teams to help locate the escaped primates. Alpha Genesis currently have eyes on the primates and are working to entice them with food, police said in a statement. The public is advised to avoid the area, as these animals are described as skittish and any additional noise or movement could hinder their safe capture. The monkeys have never been used for testing due to their young age, and they're too young to carry disease, the statement said. Attempts to reach Alpha Genesis for comment went unanswered. Speaking to CBS News, the Alpha Genesis CEO Greg Westergaard said that a caretaker accidentally left a door to the enclosure unsecured. The ensuing escape, he said, was likely an all too literal version of monkey see, monkey do. Quote, "It's really like follow the leader. You see one go and the others go," Westergaard said. A group of about 50 and 7 stayed behind and 43 bolted out the door. Even though he called the escape frustrating, Westergaard said he hoped the monkeys would ultimately return home of their own free will. Do you want Outbreak? Because this is how you get Outbreak. In fact, it would be really funny if Dustin Hoffman were to just randomly show up in this South Carolina town just to fuck with people. But still, I mean, it's not great that these animals have escaped and they're in the wild now, because you don't know. They say they're not carrying any diseases, and I'm not pointing fingers at them, because I'm really not. But I've never been a big fan of animal testing. I understand it can yield some very positive results, but I don't like the idea of testing like cosmetics and all that shit. And I've seen some documentaries that aren't great. Very disturbing, to say the least. and you guys have known me for like 20 years almost at this point. You guys know I'm a big animal person. But animals like this do not belong in the wild. I think that's where they should ultimately stay, is in the wild. But yeah, and I don't know. I really have a feeling someone's going to find one of these monkeys and they're going to take it home as a pet, and it's going to stay quiet for like a couple of years, and then eventually something bad's going to happen. And I do think of one woman, and I remember the 911 call more than I remember anything else about this. But I remember a woman had a monkey, and the monkey, a switch flipped, and the monkey tore her face off. I'm not even kidding when I say that. They had to like shoot the monkey with like pistols and shotguns to drop this thing because the monkey was incredibly strong, and there was nothing they could do about it. It was just horrific. But obviously these things are only 6 or 7 pounds, but still, those things are probably really, really strong. But you also don't know, again, what's this going to do to the local ecosystem should they somehow find a way to survive. But they're all female, I want to say, so it's not like they're going to breed. But I don't know, if you like Jurassic Park, and as Dr. Ian Malcolm once said, there it is. Life finds a way. Or how did the other quote go? Scientists didn't... It was something along the lines of they weren't so preoccupied if they could, it was whether or not they should, or something like that. I'm totally slaughtering it, but you get the idea there, right? So hopefully the monkeys do get returned home safe, nothing bad happens, and we avoid the inevitable outbreak of the Mutaba virus, if I've learned anything from the Clerks cartoon series back in 2000 and something or other. Okay, so last story this week, and this one is going to be, as soon as my stupid thing stops being stupid. My God, fuck off. Oh my God, every app is trying to open it right now. There we go. Okay, so this one's kind of funny. So this one comes courtesy of The Independent over in the UK. Fire erupts at Mark Wahlberg's new restaurant shortly before the ribbon-cutting ceremony. Fire crew arrived and quickly extinguished it, restaurant spokesperson says. Mark Wahlberg's new Mexican restaurant, Flecha Cantina, went up in flames right before its ribbon-cutting ceremony. The blaze broke out just one night before Wahlberg was set to host a ribbon-cutting ceremony at the restaurant's Las Vegas, Nevada location on November 7th, marking nearly 3 weeks since Flecha Cantina grand opening on September 14th. A video of flames outside Flecha Cantina was shared on X/Twitter. A spokesperson for Flecha Cantina told People magazine a fire started on Wednesday after a defective fire pit caught fire on the bottom of it. The fire crew came and put it out right away, said the spokesperson. No damage at all at the interior of the restaurant. The only damage was the fire pit and the chair next to it. Thankfully, no one was injured. They added the fire sprinkler company came back out and recharged the system. The restaurant was back open at 7 p.m. The Clark County Fire Department responded to reports of flames reaching the restaurant's patio at approximately 5:30 p.m. By the time they had arrived, sprinklers had already been activated and the restaurant had been fully evacuated. Fire officials confirmed that the flames had not reached the building's interior and were confined to a single propane fire table. Surveillance footage indicated that the fire was ignited from within the table's internal mechanisms. The Las Vegas restaurant offers, quote, a fusion of traditional Mexican flavors with innovative twists, according to a press release. Following the success of Flecha's first location in Huntington Beach, California, which opened on June 8th, the Las Vegas location opened in September. The ribbon-cutting ceremony will reportedly continue as planned. Wahlberg, along with his wife Rhea Durham, said, and their 4 children, relocated from California to Las Vegas in 2022. He said the move did not impact his acting career. He's only made a couple of movies in the entire time. He lived in California, and he gave his family new opportunities and freedom. It's a place where my kids can thrive and do their thing and pursue their interests, Wahlberg to her people in March. To be able to give my kids a better life and follow and pursue their dreams, whether it be my daughter as an equestrian, my son as a basketball player, my youngest son as a golfer, this made a lot more sense to us. Wahlberg and Dunham were married in August 2009, and our parents to their daughter Ella, 20, Grace, 14, and their sons Michael, 17, and Brendan, age 15. Wow, he really has a full family. Actually, I actually finally caught up on a Mark Wahlberg movie the other day. Actually, I started watching Ted 2. Yeah, I know. I'm like 10 years behind. And he's got that new movie called, I think it's called Flight Risk. I think that comes out like in January or something. Though that was supposed to come out last month, and then it suddenly just got randomly yeeted out of theaters like the day before or something. I don't know. Alex told me about it, and he looks weird in that. I don't know. I like Mark Wahlberg's comedy more than I like his action movies. But I did kind of like him in Transformers Age of Extinction, where he's like, get daddy's robot killing gun. Although that movie has its whole host of problems. Although Lockdown is cool and Cemetery Wind is a neat idea. So that's all I got this week for news stories. So what we're going to do, we're going to take another break here on the show. We're going to listen to my review of the latest Mario Party game on the Nintendo Switch. And when we come back, I'll kind of give you guys an update on what to expect from us in the next little bit, as we're trying to get shows kind of scheduled because our hiatus for the wintertime is coming up. And we have got so many games to talk about between now and the end of the year. So expect a lot of video game coverage. So anyway, guys, we will be right back right after this, only on thisweekingeek.net. I've been Mike the Birdman. We'll be back, guys, right after this.
Hi, this is Steve Downs, the voice of Master Chief. You're listening to thisweekingeek.net. Finish the fight.
Hey guys, this is Mike the Birdman here. I'm here to talk about something really cool we got sent over for a review from our friends over at Nintendo. I'm talking about Super Mario Party Jamboree on the Nintendo Switch. This is the latest edition in the Mario Party series, and the game that will often destroy friendships, marriages, and basically destroy your life if you let it. But this one was actually quite a bit of fun. So I've been playing this game with my wife Blair over the last little bit, and gotta say, this one's a friggin' blast. Where do I even start with this? You get like 22 characters. You can unlock 2 pretty much right as soon as the game starts. You can unlock Pauline and you can unlock Ninja. And to do that, you literally just have to go to one of the main menus and you zoom in on some islands, and that's all I'm going to tell you. But as soon as you find them, you can unlock them, and they are pretty cool. What really sets this game apart is how it handles the actual board game mechanics itself. So you can get allies that can pop up on the field for a couple of turns, and they can offer you different bonuses. Now, during my playthroughs, I just kept getting Peach for some reason, but that basically means I could buy 2 stars. Basically, I could do things twice. So I could buy twice as many items, I could buy twice as many stars, because basically it's the same Mario Party formula you've dealt with before. Go around the board, collect coins, buy stars, get stars, and you may get, bonus stars at the end of the game. However, what sets this one apart is you can change a lot of the rule customization. When you unlock Pro Rules, you can get rid of a lot of the random luck BS out of it, and you just don't have to deal with it anymore. So you can create a more sweaty experience, or if you really want to play mind games with someone, you could probably do that with this. I know at one point I took a chance on going one route. I knew it would land me on a Bowser square, but I knew it would get me a lot closer to the stars, so I took a calculated risk. Some of the items are really cool this time around, because it's been like a while since I've played a Mario Party, but still, I had a blast. There are like so many different boards. There's one that happens in like a Mario Kart like place. There's one that takes place in a mall, an island where you can get trapped, which is kind of fun. One has like this Wiggler, which is like the worm guy. And there's one that's like this kind of like, it's like a cooperative thing where you have to fight this giant imposter Bowser by loading bombs into a cannon. But you have to challenge mini games in between them. You have to beat Bowser in like 5 rounds or something. Another one is like this cool kind of marathon where like the more coins you collect, that represents a space. So you have to run around this like giant, I think it's called Coop-tathlon or something. And that was actually a surprising amount of fun. I actually played that one quite a bit. I actually really enjoyed that one. Another thing here, there are dedicated mini games that are dedicated to motion controls. I didn't play around with that a lot because I just don't like using Joy-Cons. Like, I play with a Pro controller because I'm old, get off my lawn. But they did look kind of neat. Like, one of them kind of reminds me of like a rhythm kitchen and like you're making sandwiches or something. My favorite minigame that I came across so far, because I watch a lot of Food Network and I'm fat, you have to take baked goods out of an oven so they don't burn. So you're baking bread, you're baking croissants, you're baking cakes and everything, and you're just pulling it out right when it's golden brown. I really, really like that. I think there's something like over 50 plus minigames here. Like, I haven't seen all of them. You can unlock stuff. You can like create like custom postcards that you can send to like other players like that. You can play with people around the world. Super Mario Jamboree, this really feels like the classic GameCube era for me, because that's when I started playing Mario Party. And my litmus test for how fun a Mario Party is my wife Blair, who's not a gamer traditionally like me and Alex are, but does she have fun? Does she have fun navigating it? And can she do it without getting frustrated? And that didn't happen during this. And when words and quips start flying and competition sets in, that's when I know this game is meant for everybody. So Mario Party Jamboree, I really feel like this is a really good return the form. The fact that you can customize rules, there's a lot of options here for what you want to do. There's a lot of things for the single player as well. So yeah, seriously, if you want a really fun game for you to have a blast with this holiday season, then yeah, I really think you're going to have a really fun time with this latest version of the Super Mario Party series. So Super Mario Party Jamboree most definitely gets a recommend from us over here at thisweekingeek.net.
This is Commander Shepard. You're listening to thisweekingeek.net, and this is my favorite podcast on the Citadel.
Hey guys, welcome back to thisweekingeek.net. I've been your host, Mike the Birdman. Man, it has been a really long time since I've done a solo show. And I'll be honest, it actually felt kind of good just being able to talk, just kind of freeform, just kind of flow it like the world's dorkiest mixtape, Wigga Wigga Chicka Chicka Wow Wow. During a little bit of a break there, I decided to check out YouTube, and I just saw the newest trailer for the final season of What If that'll be premiering on Disney Plus on December 22nd. The final shot of that looks really fucking cool. All I gotta say is, I am Storm. That looked friggin' awesome. That's exciting. Yeah, that's awesome. So anyway, what's coming up in the next little bit? Well, I'm trying to get a couple more loose cannons, future imperfects, and other things in the can before the end of the year. When it comes to video games, let me see. I have Call of Duty Black Ops. I've got Dragon Age. I've got Life is Strange. I've got a lot. Like a lot. I also got MechWarrior 5 Clans. I picked that up a little while back. A lot of these just may have to come in our holiday gift guide because there's just so much to cover, and I still have stuff I still need to download. That's how many codes I've gotten in the last little while. So yeah, I'll be putting these together in the next little bit, and hopefully I will get these out the door to you guys sooner as opposed to later. I know Alex and Aaron have been talking about doing something about Soviet movies for a little while, so hopefully they'll get that done fairly quickly. I know me, Dave, and Ken are working together to get something done in the next little bit, but I'm not 100% sure what's going on with that, because I know the American Thanksgiving's coming up pretty soon. Although I know next week, Dave and Enrique will be doing the movie Dutch on Do You Even Movie. I think this week is the Ice Storm on Do You Even Movie, which, wow, that movie sounds depressing and fun. But yeah, so if you want to go check that them out, that's Do You Even Movie. Always go and support those guys, as they're really good friends. Also Weekly Spooky, which I am writing a new story for Christmas time, and it's going to be a sequel to something that I wrote actually earlier this year, and I'm going to make it a family story, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to getting that done. I'm going to have it to Enrique by Monday, so I'm pretty much writing a lot of that and some other freelance RPG stuff this week as well. So anyway, I'm also hopefully going to get something done on my Patreon this week as well. I just haven't quite decided what I want to talk about. I think I want to talk about why I enjoy IP RPGs more than I enjoy anything else. I've got some ideas. So anyway, guys, I got some other post-production that I got to do on the show. So hopefully you guys, again, send Alex all your love. I'm sure he would love to hear from you. So Alex at thisweekingeek.net, let him know that you guys care. It would really mean a lot to me personally. And to all of you that have reached out to me on social media recently for my personal problems that I've had recently, thank you guys. It really does mean a lot why me and Alex come out and do the show as often as we possibly can. And hopefully we'll get a few more shows out to you guys in the next couple of weeks as we begin to round up the year end as we approach Holiday Gift Guide coming out on December 12th and the Video Game Awards show that'll be followed probably not too long after that as well. And so anyway, guys, for thisweekingeek.net, we have been Mike the Birdman. You guys have been awesome. So until next time, guys, be excellent to each other. Have a safe and happy week ahead. And you know what? You want to do something for Birdman this week? Just be nice to someone. Do something to make someone's life a little bit easier because, hey, we could all use that little bit of a helping hand. And I will talk to you guys next week right here on thisweekingeek.net.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Thanks for listening to this episode of This Week in Geek. Hungry for more? Check out our website at thisweekingeek.net. You can subscribe to the podcast, browse our Twitter and Instagram, and leave your thoughts on today's topics. If you'd like to give us some feedback, send us an email at feedback@thisweekingeek.net. Tune in next time, and remember,
lower your shields and surrender your listenership.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.